Manchester United apparently close to agreeing a deal with Adrien Rabiot, with the player being described as desperate to join Manchester United this summer. £13 million bid for Scott McTominay, plus exits for Pellistri and Hannibal. These are some of the stories we will be discussing on this evening's live show. But before we get into that, please do me one small favour. Smash a like on today's video. Let's try and see 1,000 likes on this episode. And if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe to the channel. I'm live every single day at 8:30, 1:30 and 6 p.m. UK time. Make sure you get involved. It's completely free content. Everyone is welcome. Right, let's jump straight on into it then. And let's start the show off by talking about Hannibal Mejbri. The report coming out this evening from multiple different outlets and journalists is that apparently Hannibal is now in advanced talks to join Rangers on a permanent deal. Pretty strange, I have to say. Like, I don't know. I don't really know what to say about that. Yeah, I mean, we played Rangers a couple of days ago, didn't we? Or like a week ago in pre-season. Maybe there was talks that were held then. For me personally, there isn't really too much to say about Hannibal Mejbri. You know, he's 21 years of age now. He's been here since he was at youth level. He's been on loan 2 or 3 times. He had a couple of good cameos where he came off the bench. I think against Liverpool, and he took someone out and everyone liked that. But other than that, like, I don't know. I don't really have any memories or anything to really say about Hannibal, you know. Should he leave the club? Yes, definitely. Is he going to have a future at Manchester United? No. That kind of sums it all up, really, doesn't it? Apparently, Manchester United are asking for somewhere around £5 to £10 million for Hannibal. He's got 1 year left of his contract. So, again, like many of the players we have in the squad at the moment, either Manchester United sell them now or they risk losing him for free next summer. So it's a no-brainer. We bought him for €10 million in 2019 from the AS Monaco Youth Academy. So I would hope that we'll get our money back. The 10 million that we spent on him, that would be my kind of benchmark. Transfer market has him valued at €9 million. So we should get 9 to 10 million, I think, for him, you know, somewhere around that type of figure. I don't know about Rangers, like how much money. I can't imagine that Rangers have got that much money, but I might be wrong. Like, the Scottish League doesn't have anywhere near the revenue that the Premier League does, obviously, does it? So let's have a look. Scotland, record arrivals. So the biggest ever transfer fee in Scotland was somebody called Tor Andre Flo, who moved from Chelsea to Rangers in 2001 for €18 million. Other than that, it's kind of around the 10 million mark. So yeah, I expect us to get about 10 million for Hannibal Mejbri, which I'm happy with. I'll take that. We've got to do that, you know. Yeah, let me know what you think about that one. We've got a comment coming in here from Michael. He says, "I love the Daily Red Devil show, but Kieran, you have to stop with the Amrabat narrative. He is not good enough for Manchester United, regardless of the price." Do you honestly think that? So let's rephrase this, right? Obviously, this is somewhere where we can all have an opinion. So if you disagree with this person, let me know in the comment section. If you agree with him, you can obviously have your say. We are going to sell Hannibal for around €10 million. And you're telling me that reinvesting that money on Amrabat for the same amount of money, he's available for around 10 million. That seems to me like a good bit of business. We don't need Hannibal, right? We've got Mason Mount, we've got Bruno, we've got Kobe, we've got Ericsson. We've got so many players who play in that central attacking midfield position, don't we? We're absolutely stacked in that area. We've got Ahmad as well. He can play there. Xerxes can play there. We've probably got 6 or 7 players who can operate as the cam, right? But we have one player who can play as a CDM, and that's Casemiro. So isn't a logical decision to sell Hannibal to Rangers, 5 to 10 million, take that money, and then go and buy Amrabat with that same amount of money? Like, to me, it makes complete sense. It's a squad game. Do I think Amrabat's world class? No. Do I think he's going to win the Premier League with Amrabat? No. But as a backup on the bench, I think it makes a lot of sense. But maybe you disagree. You know, maybe you think Amrabat's rubbish. I just think that defensively, Amrabat is solid. He's very strong. He's got the physicality for the Premier League. Yeah, there's people saying that Amrabat's useless. Amrabat was in the team when we won the FA Cup. Come on, you've got to put a bit of respect on his name. He had Rodri in his pocket for most of that game. I'm not sure about this whole Amrabat's useless thing. Like, I don't know. But anyway, you're entitled to your opinion. That's completely fine. Okay, there's people in the chat asking about Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So let's talk about that really, really quickly. because the news today is that apparently Wan-Bissaka has now agreed to join West Ham. The only issue we have now is that Manchester United need to negotiate a price with West Ham. Man United are apparently asking for 15 to 20 million pounds, which will be the amount of money we need to then go and sign Mazraoui from Bayern Munich. That deal's been agreed. So Mazraoui to Manchester United, deal agreed. But that deal cannot happen until Wan-Bissaka moves to West Ham. So we're all just waiting now for Man United to agree the transfer fee with West Ham. And effectively, Manchester United want that transfer fee to mirror the transfer fee they're paying for Mazraoui. So on the books, it will be like an equal exchange, you know? So say it's 20 million including add-ons for Mazraoui. Manchester United want 20 million including add-ons for Wan-Bissaka. And I agree with that 100% because if we end up having to pay 20 million for Mazraoui and only get 10 million for Wan-Bissaka, say, then I don't think that's a good deal. You know, it needs to be an equal kind of exchange. West Ham wanted Mazraoui. Mazraoui rejected them. Their next best option is Wan-Bissaka. So either they take it or they go and look somewhere else. So it's again, like many of our transfers at the moment, it's like a game of poker. It's a game of who blinks first. And Manchester United have obviously told West Ham their position. They've said you need to give us this amount of money. And it all just depends now on whether West Ham are happy to do it or not. And I think they will, but it might just take a couple of days. It might not be like an immediate thing. So, yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. Someone's saying sorry to me. What are you sorry for? I don't know what you're sorry for, my friend. But no problem. You don't have to be sorry. He's complaining because I was a couple of minutes late. Literally, my computer was about to blow up. Literally about to blow up. Someone's saying, why did the live stream say it was at 5 when you don't start until 6? I'm not sure what you mean, mate. The stream was always set up for 6, so maybe your clock's wrong or something. I'm not sure. But anyway, let's move on with the rest of the show. Let's move on to Scott McTominay. And this next story is going to make you laugh, so brace yourselves. Brace yourselves for a giggle, because apparently Galatasaray have submitted a bid today for Scott McTominay. Let's remind ourselves. Fulham submitted a bid last week of £17 million for McTominay, right? That bid was rejected by Manchester United, and rightly so. If Emile Smith-Rowe is worth 27 million plus add-ons, then McTominay is worth 30 million. I'm sorry, he is. Manchester United want 30 million for McTominay. That's their position. They won't sell him unless they get their 30 million, okay? So last week, Fulham put in their first bid, £17 million. That's rejected outright. No, definitely not. We're not selling him for that amount. What did Galatasaray come and do? They come and put in a bid today of £13 million. I mean, I don't understand this logic. Like, this is coming out from multiple different reliable Turkish journalists saying that apparently Galatasaray have today submitted a bid of £13 million for Scott McTominay. Manchester United are demanding £30 million. I just don't understand. Like, where is the logic to that? I don't know. I honestly don't know what to say. Like, all I can do is laugh. And I'm not even laughing. I'm just confused. Like, what did they think was going to happen? Did they think we'd turn around and say, oh, of course we'll sell him to you for 13 million. We rejected a bid last week of 17 million, but, oh, no problem. You can have him for 13. It's really, really strange. And I said this from the very, very beginning of the McTominay saga, let's call it, that Galatasaray were never going to have the money to be able to buy McTominay, you know? Galatasaray's biggest ever transfer was like 10 million euros. So 13 million pounds to them would be their record transfer, you know? But it's still not going to be enough, is it? So, yeah, I don't understand the logic whatsoever. But, yeah, maybe someone in the comment section can enlighten me on why Galatasaray thought that they could get him for 13 million. Very, very strange. Somebody saying they thought we asked for 13. They got the 3 in the wrong way around. Yeah, maybe it was that. Maybe it was. Somebody says that Rabiot is not our type of player. He is no different to McTominay. Fair enough. We'll talk about McTominay in a minute. Somebody says, so a guy who scored 2 important goals and won 2 trophies in 2 years is only worth 13 million. Yeah, I mean, it's a joke, isn't it? Emile Smith-Rowe, right? I know this isn't an Arsenal channel, but it's relevant. Emile Smith-Rowe has been sat on the bench for the last 2 years at Arsenal. He's played like 300 minutes worth of football in 2 years. And they've just got 27 million plus add-ons for him. Whereas Manchester United are having to scrape the barrel to get any money for Scott McTominay. Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Really, really strange. I still think McTominay will go. Apparently, Fulham are going to put in a second bid for McTominay, so that's one to keep an eye on. Probably later on this week. Obviously, they've just confirmed the deal for Emile Smith-Rowe, so we should see a new bid for McTominay later this week. I would sell him for 30 million in a heartbeat, but I wouldn't sell him for 13 million. I think that's a joke. I think that's absolutely laughable. Like, they must think that the Glazers are still running the football side. They must think that Ed Woodward's still there and John Murtaugh is still there. You know, that's the kind of thing that John Murtaugh would have done, right? Someone would have offered us 17 million, he would have said no, and then a week later he would have sold him for 13 million. I still have nightmares about the fact that 2 summers ago, Antony was available for 20 million, right? 20 million euros was what Ajax quoted us at the beginning of the window. We wait until the end of the window and pay 100 million euros. Like, you couldn't make it up. It's like something out of like a comedy sketch, isn't it? But anyway, let's not focus on that too much. So the Galatasaray bid has obviously been rejected. Manchester United asking for 30 million in order to get that deal done. So I'll obviously keep you updated on that as and when we get more news. But let's move over to Adrien Rabiot, though. And I'm going to do a poll because I think the polls are good. I like to see what other people have to say. But whilst I'm setting up the poll, if everyone could do me a favour and hit the like button. We've got over 760 people watching, but only 150 likes. So everybody who's watching who hasn't liked, please go and do that now. Let's try and hit 1,000 likes on this video and make sure you subscribe as well. We're very close to 34,100. And remember, I will be giving out 2 of the new blue away Manchester United shirts when we hit 40k. So make sure you go and subscribe if you haven't already. And we're going to do a poll now. It's going to be, would you sign Adrien Rabiot on a free transfer? There you go. Anybody watching back on repeat, you can let me know in the comment section. Would you sign Adrien Rabiot on a free transfer? We can talk about wages and stuff. Wages-wise, he's asking for about 200 grand a week, which I do think is a lot. I do. But if we look at it in a more conservative manner, right? 200 grand a week is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. I 100% understand people's concerns there. But Manchester United so far, this transfer window, have saved over £50 million in wages a year, right? About £1 million a week we've saved. If you look at our wage bill this year now, at the point of recording this video, Manchester United's weekly payroll is about £3.3 million, right? This time last year, I've got all the wages up here. This time last year, our weekly pay was around 4 million. So we've saved about 700 grand a week in wages by getting rid of people like Veerman, Greenwood, Martial, etc., etc. Now, I agree that 200 grand a week is a hell of a lot of money for Adrien Rabiot. But who does Rabiot replace in the squad? Well, he should really replace Christian Eriksen, okay? Christian Eriksen is 32 years of age. I think he's past it. And he's on 150k a week. Christian Eriksen goes. That's 150k a week in the bank. Hannibal Mejbri goes to Rangers. He's on 15k a week, 1-5. That is 165k per week combined between the two of those players. And then Scott McTominay goes. He's on 60k a week. So if you get rid of Hannibal, McTominay and Eriksen, you would save 225,000 a week, right? Then we have Rabiot, who obviously wants his 200 grand a week. You give him that. So you're still 25 grand a week better off than you were under Eriksen, Hannibal and McTominay. Then what you do is you promote Toby Collier from the youth team into the first team as a backup, you know, as a squad player. He's only on about 5 grand a week at the moment. So you go from having Eriksen, McTominay and Hannibal, 225 grand a week combined. You raise 30 million from McTominay. You raise 5 million from Eriksen and 10 from Hannibal. So you get 45 million in available for you to spend in transfer fees from those 3 players. You then go and get Adrien Rabiot for nothing. He's free. And you promote Toby Collier. So you'll be 45 million euros better off in transfer fees. And you'll be saving... So you'll pay 200 to Rabiot and 5 to Toby Collier. You'll be 20 grand a week better off. I mean, when you break it down like that, it makes a lot of sense. And I can see why Manchester United are doing it. Because our wage bill will actually go down. if we get rid of those players who are set to leave, which I think will leave, and you replace those 3 players with Rabiot and Toby Collier. Like, if you break it down, right, Hannibal doesn't play, may as well go. Christian Eriksen, bench player, barely plays, may as well go. And McTominay does play, but not very much. So, effectively, Rabiot takes McTominay's place, and then Toby Collier takes Christian Eriksen's place, and Hannibal doesn't really count because he doesn't play. So I think it's a sensible bit of business to do, to be honest. Like, but I'd be interested to see what other people think. I personally would do it, I think. And if we could get him for a little bit less than 200 grand a week, that would be good. You know, if you could get him for 150 to 200, great, go and do it. But I think he is bringing in experience. Is he my dream player? No. But when you break it down in the way that I just have, and I hope that people find this type of analysis useful, because a lot of people just look at the headlines. They just look at 200 grand a week. It's a disgrace. Get rid of him, whatever, you know, when you look at people like Rabiot. But when you actually look at it, and you look at the fact that Eriksen would be 100% profit because we didn't pay a fee for him. So 5 million for Eriksen. McTominay would be 100% profit. So 30 million for McTominay. That's 35 million straight profit there. And then you'd probably get your money back for Hannibal. So you'd have 35 million there to do whatever you want with, which would help us massively with our profit and sustainability problems. And then Toby Collier and Rabiot would be the kind of 2 new midfielders. Obviously, you go and get Ugarte as well. Like, just imagine that. Our midfield goes from Hannibal, McTominay and Eriksen to Ugarte, Rabiot and Toby Collier. I think it's good. And obviously you can disagree. That's completely fine. I know people are saying his mother is trouble and, you know, blah, 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 and this, that and the other. But I trust Ineos and I trust Erik ten Hag to read his profile properly. Like, it's easy for us to read a headline on the internet and say, oh, Rabiot's mother did this, Rabiot's mother that. But at the end of the day, we're just football fans. We don't know what he's actually like as a player. He's won the World Cup. He started for France in every single game at the Euros. Like, you don't play somebody at international level when you've got Camavinga and Tchouaméni waiting to come into the team if he's this much of a problem. Like, you just don't. Why would he? So, yeah. I'd be very, very happy if Toby Collier, Rabiot and Ugarte replace Eriksen, Hannibal and McTominay. And that's genuinely realistic there. Because remember, what's he called? The Ugarte deal is going to be a loan, apparently, with an obligation to buy. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And is he my dream signing, Rabiot? No. But I think when you look at what the squad looks like at the moment, Rabiot is an improvement on McTominay. He's an improvement on Eriksen, and he's an improvement on Hannibal. And we have to take baby steps, you know? We can't go from 8th to 1st in one window. We just can't, can we? So that's my take on it. Obviously, if you disagree, that's completely fine. Let me know your thoughts. But yeah, I would be happy with Rabiot coming in as a free agent, especially if you think the Premier League starts. Does the Premier League start a week on Friday? 2 weeks on Friday, the Premier League starts, right? And at the point of recording this video, our midfield is worse than it was last year. Would everyone agree with that? I mean, there's not really an argument. It is worse. Last season we had last season we had Amrabat, and now we don't. Last season we had Donny van de Beek on our books, and now we don't. So we've lost 2 midfielders, and we've signed nobody in midfield. So at the point of recording this video, we are worst off in the midfield area. We desperately need 2, maybe 3 midfield signings. And if Rabiot, as a free agent, has to be one of those signings, I would have no problem with it. I wouldn't. Maybe I'll be proved wrong. Maybe in 6 months' time, you'll all come back to me and Adrien Rabiot's mum will be in our chat and she'll be slagging me off saying that I shouldn't disrespect her son. Who knows? Maybe that will happen and you can all laugh at me, you know? Imagine that. Adrien Rabiot's mother comes onto Daily Red Devil and starts putting in super chats, slagging me off. That could happen, couldn't it? She has done it before. She has spoken out to the press about, you know, her son not being picked by managers and all the rest of it. But yeah, I just think now we're getting into a point where I don't want to say we're desperate, but I think the amount of business we need to do in the window, the amount of players we need to bring in, doing some clever free agent signings, to me, makes a lot of sense. And it will allow our money to go a lot further. So that's my take on that. Obviously, if you disagree, that is completely fine. No problem at all. People talking about Obi Martin in the chat. We'll talk about him in a minute. Somebody else, Malps is talking about Joao Neves going to PSG. Yeah, I know, mate. It's devastating. But we're not in the budget, in the market to get Joao Neves. You know? Joao Neves was who we wanted. That was the player that we wanted. And we're going to end up with Rabiot. Probably. So, yeah. But yeah, it does look like Joao Neves to Benfica has just been confirmed, apparently. So, there you go. Joao Neves is not coming to Manchester United, guys. The dream is over. Yeah, really, really sad about that, but it is what it is. Yeah, people talking about Obi Martin in the comment section. So, apparently, Obi Martin has been offered 30 grand a week to join Manchester United. Arsenal offered him 15 grand a week. And now, obviously, Twitter's gone into a meltdown. The Arsenal fans are all laughing at us, saying, you don't know what you're doing, you're deluded, all the rest of it. I will be honest with you. I haven't seen enough of Obi Martin to really comment on whether he's worth 30 grand a week. I've seen all his goals. I've watched a couple of, clips and stuff of him. 30 grand a week sounds like a lot of money for a 16-year-old. Okay? But again, at this moment in time, we have to trust Ineos. We have to trust that they know what they're doing. If they think that Obi Martin is the next generational talent, which I think he is, from what I've seen and what I've heard, then if 30 grand a week is what it takes to sign him, then you have to pay the 30 grand a week. That might hit us back in the face in a couple of months. He might come and might not be the player that we think he is. But we have to remember, he's a free agent, so we're not paying a transfer fee. But yeah, let's see what people think. 30 grand a week for a 16-year-old. Apparently, that's what's being reported. And Arsenal were only willing to give him 15 grand a week. Somebody's saying that Liverpool offered Rabiot 120 grand a week and now Manchester United are willing to offer him 200 grand a week. It sounds believable. Like, some of Liverpool's best players are only on like 100 grand a week. We've got Casemiro on 350 grand a week. Like, yeah. What's this? What's someone saying here? Breaking news, Amaz will be... but yeah, let's move on from that, though. I think we've spoken enough about Adrien Rabiot. And I'll obviously go live as soon as we get the confirmation that Chido Obi Martin has joined Manchester United. But it does look like he will be joining very, very soon. All right, let's move on from that. There's a little bit of an update from the Muppeteers, or United Muppeteers he's called, on Casemiro. And apparently Casemiro staying at Manchester United beyond this summer has become a lot more likely. He says that there has been a shift in focus in how now we can get the best out of Casemiro. Realistically, if Man United haven't had an offer for Casemiro, they would sell him, but there isn't an offer for him. So it looks like he's probably going to stay, which is obviously disappointing, but there's not really too much we can do about that. Yeah. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. People are saying, don't make the mistake by signing Rabiot. I just don't understand why Rabiot's hated so much. Let me know why you hate Rabiot so much. Because I don't understand it. Like, some people seem really, really upset about this whole Rabiot thing. And I just can't get my head around it. So please let me know, because I'd really like to see what, why you're upset about it. Yeah, there's a little bit more news, actually, to bring you on Anthony. There's more reports coming out this evening saying that apparently Besiktas are in communication with Manchester United over a loan deal. I would take it. Send him out. I just think for me, right, at the moment, Anthony is blocking Ahmad's path to the first team. And for that reason alone, I think you need to move him on. I think you need to move Anthony on just so we can give Ahmad the chance he deserves. Fred says, how dare you have a go at my son? Oh, mate, thank you for the super chat. Somebody's asking if we've got an update on Leny Yoro. No update on Leny Yoro, mate. Nothing. There's only speculation about Leny Yoro at the moment. And until we get confirmation on Leny Yoro, I don't really want to put stuff out there. Because there's some people on Twitter saying 2 weeks. There's some people saying 3 months. There's some people saying we won't see him all season. There's other people saying he's back in training. All I'll say is this on the Leny Yoro situation, right? He isn't back in training, okay? That's the first part. He's not back in training. So you have to make of that what you will. It hasn't been announced by the club what's wrong with him, which means they're probably doing tests. They're doing checks. I think he's going to be out for a while, to be honest. I think he's going to be out for a few months. That's my opinion, based on the situation, based on the fact he's not in training, based on the fact that Rasmus Højlund got injured in the same game and Rasmus Højlund is back in training already. So that's just my opinion. I am worried. I'm sad. I'm disappointed. I was so excited about Leny Yoro. And if he's going to be out for months, I'll be absolutely gutted. I will. And I think it will derail our season. I'm not even trying to be dramatic. I honestly think that Leny Yoro being out will derail our season. I do. Because the how you start the season is so, so important. And if we're starting the season without him, we're already at a disadvantage, aren't we? You know, you've gone from Raphael Varane, who's one of the best centre-backs in the world over the last decade, to Leny Yoro, who's the future, and I'm excited about, and now you're going back to Maguire. That's the reality, isn't it? The Premier League starts 2 weeks on Friday, and as it stands, it will be Martinez and Varane starting that game. So, yeah, it is disappointing and it is sad, but let's just keep our fingers and toes crossed that apparently... let's just keep our fingers and toes crossed that he will be back soon. Everyone who's still watching the video, we've got over 950 people in the room right now, which is amazing. If everyone could do me a little favour and hit the like button, we've gone for 1,000 likes as the target today, and make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. We're only 3 subscribers away from 34,100, so please go and subscribe if you haven't already. We're on the road to 40k. When we hit 40k subs, we're giving out 2 of the new blue Manchester United shirts, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Everybody get involved. I just dropped a link in the chat to do that. Okay, let's see what else people are saying in the chat quickly. Somebody says we've only got 1 month left until the transfer window closes, right? Yeah, I think it's 4 weeks on Friday. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 weeks on Friday the window closes. We've still got plenty of time. There's still lots and lots of time for stuff to happen. Stefan says, when Aaron Wan-Bissaka leaves, we will then sign De Ligt and Mazraoui, so I'm not too worried about the defence. Apparently, we need to sell Lindelof as well in order to get De Ligt. That's what I've been told. So, yeah, I think it will be a little while before we see De Ligt in a Manchester United shirt. Lindelof's supposed to be moving to Fenerbahce, but it seems to have gone very, very quiet. Amnat says, Kieran, tell us who you think our next 5 signings will be in order. Okay, number 1, I think, will be Chido Obi Martin. Number 2 will be Mazraoui. Number 3 will be Ugarte. Number 4 will be Rabiot. And number 5 will be De Ligt. Those will be our next 5 signings. That's my prediction. Chido Obi Martin, Mazraoui, Rabiot, De Ligt, and Ugarte. That's what I would say. But you can let me know, like, who do you think will be the next 5 deals? Somebody in the chat is asking me if there's any update on Frankie de Jong to Manchester United. Oh, God, not this again. Frankie de Jong. Oh, please, no. Oh. There are stories saying that apparently Man United are interested in Frankie de Jong, but I just think it's rubbish, to be honest. The thing with Frankie de Jong is, right, and this just immediately stops the story. Frankie de Jong at Barcelona currently earns 700,000 euros a week. 700,000. And he's got added bonuses of up to 400,000 euros a week. So in total per week, if he meets all of his performance rate related bonuses, Frankie de Jong can earn 1.1 million euros a week at Barcelona. He's got 2 years left of his contract, right? 57 million euros a year Frankie de Jong earns. And 2 more years of that he's got. So off the top of my head, he's owed about 100 million euros from Barcelona over the next 2 seasons. That's just crazy money. Crazy money. We complain about Casemiro's wages, right? Casemiro earns about 20 million a year. So we would have to pay Casemiro for 5 years in order for it to be the same amount as what Frankie de Jong's going to earn in 2 years. I just don't see it happening. I think it's incredibly unlikely. Obviously, we nearly signed him 2 seasons ago. Yeah, we nearly signed him 2 seasons ago. So the likelihood of us getting him now is very, very small. Maybe next summer. Maybe that's a possibility then. He'd have 1 year left of his contract then. Maybe he's happy to take a pay cut. But even then, if he's on 700,000 plus bonuses a week now, what would be a pay cut for Frankie de Jong? Half? That would still be 350k a week, you know? And that's still too much. So yeah, Frankie de Jong to Manchester United, I think is, yeah, it's never going to happen. I hope I'm wrong. Actually, do I? I don't even hope I'm wrong. For that amount of money, I don't want him at Manchester United. I think he's worth maybe 250k a week, you know? I would rather have Kobe Mainoo than Frankie de Jong any day of the week. I'd rather have Bruno than than Frankie de Jong. Like, I feel like the Frankie de Jong train's gone. It's passed. It's left the station, and none of us got on that train. So, yeah. I hope that answers your question. But there are always murmurs linking players to Manchester United, and I get that, you know, Frankie de Jong's always going to be linked. Okay. Right, let's move on from that, though. I got a little bit derailed there with Frankie de Jong. I wasn't expecting to be asked about him, to be honest, but obviously I'm happy to answer questions as and when they come in. Right, let's see where we are in today's video. Just seeing if there's anything else I had planned for today's show. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about this, actually, really, really quickly. There's a story coming out from Manchester Evening News this evening saying that apparently Manchester United have inquired about signing PSV midfielder Joey Veerman, another Dutch midfielder, another Dutch player. The Netherlands past and present is fully on its way. I'll be honest, I haven't really seen that much of this guy, Joey Veerman. He was playing at the Euros for the Netherlands. He's a central midfielder and can play as a CDM, 25 years of age, available for around 40 million euros, 2 years left of his contract. I just think it's us being linked to another player. You know, I think the likelihood of us signing this guy is probably pretty small. But we're Manchester United. We're the biggest club in the world, with the biggest fan base, and we're constantly linked to players, you know? There's no way of getting around that. So, yeah. Joey Veerman, if anybody knows more about him in the chat, let me know. I've only seen what I've seen of him at international level. Yeah, so for me, it's a no, but I just think it's an unrealistic story. It's just us being linked to another player, as we always are. So, yeah, that's that. I'm just going to check if there's any other breaking news since we've gone live. Obviously, the main stories today is on Rabiot, really. That's the big headline this evening. I think that's probably everything that we have planned for today's show. But I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. It feels like a good point to end the video. Please make sure to smash a like before you leave. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. This has been Daily Red Devil. Thank you very much for joining me. I will be back at 8:30 tomorrow morning, UK time, for your next live show. Then probably will be a video later tonight if there's any news that comes out. So, you know, make sure you look out for that. Thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely evening, everybody. Go and enjoy the sun if you're in the UK, because it's 30 degrees up there. It's beautiful. Yeah, I'll speak to you all later. Bye for now.